Rubem Amorim has been sacked by Manchester United. I'm not sure this comes as much of a surprise to anyone. 1-1 draws against Wolves, terrible performance in that game as well. 1-1 draw against Leeds, another pretty bad performance. Admittedly, they do have quite a lot of players missing, but I'm surprised it actually took so long for Man United to sack him. It was quite clear that it hasn't worked for quite a long time. I mean, he's got some good performances out of his team. Players like Bruno Fernandes are kind of holding that team together, and without him, you can see it really isn't working. But the main issue is who do they go and get now? This is what I don't get. One thing that really would make me laugh if they went and got Maresca. He's obviously just been sacked by Chelsea, and maybe Man United have seen this as a time where they can go in and get a good manager, because there isn't many other good managers out there realistically. The only other name about really is potentially Xavi, but I'm not sure that he'd be a great fit really. It would be really, really interesting to see if Maresca went to Man United. And like I say, maybe they have seen this as an opportunity now, Man United, because there is a lot going on behind the scenes clearly. In that interview that Amorim did the other day, where he's saying, I'm the manager of Manchester United, not the head coach. I'll be here for 18 months and then I'll be done, I'll be gone. I don't know quite what that whole interview was about. It didn't look great from him, I will say. And it's not surprising now that he's been sacked after watching that. As I say, it is quite clear that there's a lot going on behind the scenes, or he wouldn't have needed to say all that in the interview. I'm not really sure what it was all about. I'm not really sure what's going on behind the scenes, but I'm sure that Man United fans will just be happy with this. Amorim, there was only a ceiling that he could take them to, I'd say. He wasn't really getting the best out of the squad he's got, and don't get me wrong, the squad isn't unbelievable. I don't think the squad is fantastic, especially with players like Mbeumo, Amad Diallo at the African Cup of Nations. The squad looks really depleted, especially when Bruno Fernandes is missing from that team. He holds them together a bit like glue, to be honest. He kind of kept them up last season, in all honesty. There would have genuinely been a worry that they were going to be relegated if it wasn't for him last season, given where they finished. So it's not too much of a surprise that he has been sacked. Like I say, I'm just more surprised that it's taken this long. He was so persistent with this five at the back. And actually in recent weeks, he did change it up a little bit. Maybe that was because he genuinely didn't have the personnel to play five at the back. But he's been playing Dorgu at right wing. It's kind of worked, to be honest. I don't think that he's actually been bad there. He obviously scored. But one thing that is clear is that he just doesn't have the personnel to play five at the back. So why he's persisted with it and why he's come out in interviews saying, I will persist, this is my style, this is my formation, this is how I set up. He just doesn't have the players to do it though. He doesn't have a centre midfielder or two centre midfielders that can play. He's had to play Bruno Fernandes in the pivot, which is not a position that he clearly wants to be playing. He needs to be in a number 10 role to have his best impact. We've seen that previously at Manchester United, and without a number 10 role in the system, Bruno Fernandes almost becomes redundant, except he's so good that he's still managed to have an impact on that team. It's almost credit to Bruno how good he's been in a position that he doesn't even like at the moment. It isn't the position that he particularly wants to be playing, like I say. So it's a credit to him that he's still been so good. Bruno Fernandes, though, needs to be in a number 10. It's quite clear that a 4-2-3-1 formation is exactly what Manchester United should be playing. Bruno Fernandes is your best player. Play him in his best position. So you need to go and get a manager who's not going to be so stubborn on playing this five at the back. That can't be a thing that happens at Man United, and I'm sure that they will know that now. I do actually think that Maresca would be quite a good tactical fit. We know that he impressed at Chelsea. For me, he actually overperformed as to what I thought he would and what the squad was capable of. When he moved from Leicester to Chelsea, I didn't think that was a good appointment at all. I thought that he was going to be one of the first managers to be sacked, in fact. I didn't think that what he was doing at Leicester was particularly replicable or transferable to Chelsea, to a bigger club. But actually, I was quite impressed with how he did. I don't think that he could have taken Chelsea any higher than he has. He won the Club World Cup. Don't get me wrong, not a competition that means much at this point, but still pretty impressive to do, to beat the Champions League winners at that time, to beat that PSG team it is pretty impressive what he did. I do think he overachieved with the squad he has as well. There is clearly at Clear Lake and at Chelsea a profitability goal. That is what the club wants, profitability, and they're sacrificing on-field performances, league positioning for that profitability. And considering that, he's done really well, I think. They've got worse in the striker department. Delap will come good, I'm sure. João Pedro is okay, but Nicholas Jackson would have been better in that team. So they've got worse in the attack situation. Centre-backs, they've been unlucky with the Levi Colwill injury, don't get me wrong, but the centre-backs just are not good enough, clearly. They don't care about bringing in the experienced players. They want to bring in young players that they can turn for a profit, but with that, you do need a couple of experienced players. So I do think Maresca overperformed for the squad he had and for the situation he was in. And I do think he's actually a very good manager. So I think that Man United wouldn't be too silly to go and get him. He showed that he can play a 4-2-3-1. He showed that he can play with Cole Palmer in a 10, similar to the way that Bruno Fernandes could play in a 10. I think it would actually work quite well. And I also think it will make Chelsea look quite stupid if he goes in and succeeds. So if I was Man United, that is exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be going out and getting Maresca as soon as you can. But for me, I'm just more surprised at how long it's taken for Manchester United to sack Amorim. They've clearly wanted to give him loads of time. They've given him a couple of transfer windows as well. And he still hasn't brought in the right personnel for his desired formation. He's brought in Mbeumo, great buy. He's brought in Cunha, again, great buy. Those kind of wide 10 slots, he has filled pretty well and it has worked. But the forwards he's brought in clearly haven't worked. He still hasn't got a good enough centre midfielder to partner with someone in that double pivot. And even at wing back, I think Amad Diallo is so much better if he's playing higher up. He hasn't got a great left wing back still. Dorgu's okay, but he clearly doesn't rate him there, or he would be playing him more there, and he's not. So I don't think that he has managed to bring in the personnel that he wanted. Maybe that is what the rift is between the owners or the board or whatever it is and Amorim. Maybe that's why he's speaking out in the interviews as he is. But it's not worked. He's been sacked. It was about time, to be honest. Maybe it just took that interview of him to say, I'm not the manager, I'm not the coach, sorry. Maybe it took that for it to get to this breaking point, but I don't think Man United fans will be particularly disappointed by this. But yeah, who do you think they should go and get? I think Maresca, to be honest. I think that would be brilliant. But make sure you're hitting like, make sure you're subscribing. That's all for this one. I'll see you in the next one.